Hey, what's going on, my friend? It's Jeff Newport from ChasingStrength.com. And in today's video, we're going to answer the question, what do you do if you're stuck in paralysis analysis with regard to picking whichever kettlebell program is right for you? Now, here's the backstory and why we're covering this, because I recently got an email from a customer who wished to remain anonymous about mixing strength and cardio. And he had found a recent email of mine very helpful for him getting out of paralysis analysis about program choice. Okay. And so if you find yourself stuck there too, in the old paralysis analysis mode, I thought we would quickly discuss how to get out and make the choice that best suits you so you can get back on the horse pronto. Okay. Now, the simplest way I've found to get unstuck is to simply ask yourself, what is my number one goal? What is the most important thing to me? And then pick your program that best meets that goal based upon the following criteria. Number one, your technical prowess using kettlebells. Okay. Do you know how to perform the exercises correctly without injuring yourself? Number two, your accessibility to kettlebells. How many kettlebells do you have access to? Right? Do you have a whole cluster of them? Right? A nest, just a garage that is filled to the brim with kettlebells? Or do you have to go to a gym, right, in order to use them? Or do you just have one in your basement? Okay. Number three, what's your injury history? Right? Do you have a clean injury history? Or have you injured yourself in the past and you're still suffering with some of the results from those injuries? Okay. Number four, your training history. Are you brand new to exercise in general, or have you been training for an entire life? Okay. Also, right, how long have you been using kettlebells? Are you brand new to kettlebells, or have you been using them for, good gosh, 22 years or more like I have? Okay. What are we up to? Is that four? Okay. Number five, what's your schedule look like, right? Do you have ideas of grandeur, right? Of training 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, but you can only train 20 minutes a day, 3 to 5 days a week, right? That's going to dictate what program you use. Okay. How are your stress levels? That is number six, right? Are you stressed to the max? Okay. Or is life just totally chill and it's easy street for you? All right. And then finally, what is your willingness to make any necessary changes? Like, where do you fall on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 is I'm not willing to do anything. 10 is, man, I'm willing to turn my life right side up in order to get the changes I'm looking for. Okay. These things all factor in to which program is best for you. All right. Now, generally speaking, all physical prowess is based on strength. So training for maximum strength should take precedence, even over cardio. And yes, I know zone 2 cardiovascular training and improving your VO2 max is all the rage right now. But remember this. In order to run 3 miles, you first have to be able to run 1 mile. Okay. That's strength, right? In its simplest of form. Build your maximum strength first, and then use strength-based conditioning to improve your cardio at the same time. Remember, it's not a low VO2 max that puts people in a nursing home. It's a lack of mobility. They can't get around on their own anymore. And at its heart, it's a lack of strength. Then, if you need to, get rid of your excess body fat, especially the stomach and visceral fat, what we call the beer gut, the spare tire, the jelly belly. And that's because it speeds up your meeting, your destiny with the Grim Reaper. And worse, it makes the years between now and then less fun. Okay, because you'll end up with all kinds of fun, right, and totally avoidable lifestyle diseases. Diseases like type 2 diabetes and good old-fashioned ED. Hold on a second here. Go look up ED if you don't know what that is. All right. Next, train to put on some muscle. And that's because we, men, lose 10% of our muscle mass per decade after the age of 30 if we don't actively seek to retain it, right? And that means if you're not proactive in building muscle, you can lose up to 40% of your muscle between ages 30 and 70. And that's why a lot of the older guys are shaped like Christmas trees, right? Make sense? They look like this. Now, what about the cardio? Where's all that fit into this? Well, I'm of the opinion that between daily walking and strength-based conditioning, of which certain types improve your VO2 max, you can cover all your bases. And those get done simultaneously with the other goals. Unless, of course, you want to do like a Spartan race or something like that, right? And then you'd need to train specifically for it with running, etc. And that have to be specifically built into your program. So if I had to diagram all this out for you, it would look something like this. We're going to put it up here on the screen for you. On the left, you've got build your max strength, then get leaner, then work on building muscle, and then repeat. Okay. And underneath that, you're working on your strength-based conditioning. So to recap, okay, pick your number one goal, and it should loosely fall on the scale above. Okay, here's a little side note. The term recomp is short for recomposition, and that refers to taking the continuum that we just reviewed, that we just put up there on the screen, and you smush it into one thing. Okay, so what that means is when you recomp, you do all three of those things at one time. It's slower for most people than training sequentially, but for many, it requires less mental RAM. Okay, and less emotional effort or less emotional capital. And typically, for most guys, there's no dieting involved. Okay, I bring this up because some of my customers actually prefer recomping than following the continuum I just presented to you. Okay, but you may not. All right, so just thought I'd put that in there. So, and then what you're going to do next is you're going to decide where your skill level falls on the 5-phase pyramid for kettlebell training. Which we're going to flash up here on the screen. Okay, we've covered this at length. Go back and take a look at some of my early videos from last year, okay, for a full explanation of this pyramid. Okay, so if you're at a loss of where to start and you have some extra stomach fat that's been plaguing you and you know you want to get rid of that, start there. Focus on getting leaner. And that's because when you're over 40, excess stomach fat is just an unnecessary health risk or danger that you don't need to be fooling around. I'd use a program like my Kettlebell Burn 2.0 if you need the variety and want a nutrition program to speed up the process, or another program I have called Kettlebell GHFL if you don't want to change the food you eat, and then move on to max strength and then building muscle. All right. So for max strength, I'll leave some level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 programs in the description below. For building muscle, I will do exactly the same. And then what about the cardio? Well, again, just remember this concept of strength-based conditioning. You'll find plenty of that in most programs that are mentioned in the description below this video, okay? Here's one more thing. If you need some more ideas, right? Like some of my BJJ friends, some of my grappling friends, they're finding that the program I mentioned earlier, Kettlebell GHFL, is really helping their conditioning on the mats if you're into that sort of thing, all right? And I know a lot of us older guys are. Right. Alternatively, you can do slow running with nasal breathing. Okay. The pace is dictated by your ability to breathe through your nose. If you're going to do this and you haven't run for a while, start with once or twice a week and build up slowly from there to 2 to 3 times a week. Okay. So hopefully you found this video helpful in fixing your paralysis analysis and you will get clear on what you should focus on. All right. If you did find this video helpful, click the like button, smash the subscribe button, share it with a friend, and again, check out some resources in the description below. And finally, feel free to leave me a comment or not in the comment section below. Okay, until next time, my friend, stay strong.